So for this tutorial, we will be working on drawing and shading in a pair of lips. So to draw the lips, you're going to lightly sketch out a fairly long but narrow triangle. It's not super long, but just, let's see, this is probably 1.5 inches by 1 inch. And you can adjust your drawing of the lips as you go, so if it's too big or too small, that's okay. I'll show you how to adjust. Just try not to draw super small. Sorry about my thumb there. I'm just trying to get this so you can have the best view. Then what I like to do is divide that triangle in half this way and bring a line across the center. This will be the center line of your lips. Then each side of the triangle is going to be the little bumps at the top of your lips, and then there's the dip. And so you want to try to make this as symmetrical as possible. And then here we're going to have that same bump here. So we have symmetry in the shape. And then I'm going to bring this line out, so figuring out how long you want it. And so really, what if this, drawing the lips is really all about proportion, making sure this side and this side are as similar as possible. Okay. And then I'm going to erase as I go with this so that I can really check my work. Okay, and refine that drawing. So if your lines are a bit sketchy, come on in and lightly adjust. And we want to kind of curve the lips there. Now we're going to make a slightly open mouth. So again, we're going to follow that. I'm going to bring it like this. So I'm creating the opening in the mouth here, kind of like they're about to speak. And I'm going to flatten this out just a little bit there, and then bring it up into the corners of the mouth. And you can see like this top line comes over. And I'll just bring this over here. And you can change someone's mood or personality based on the shape of the lips. So again, let me adjust for you guys. I want to try to zoom in a little bit more so you can really see. There we go. Okay, so now that I have the shape of my lips, I'm going to go ahead and erase my lines. And I'm going to recheck my work and just neaten it up as best I can, adjusting for symmetry. Okay, so let's talk about how the light hits lips. So the center of your lip is the fullest, and this lip kind of comes over this lip. So this lip is going to catch more light in the center and the top. It casts a little bit of a shadow onto the bottom lip. So the bottom lip again is fullest in the center, but we'll have a little bit of shadow at the top and in the corners. We can start shading on either the top or the bottom, but I like to shade in the bottom first. So I'm going to grab my other pencil, which is a little bit more sharpened, and I'm going to start doing some contour shading, meaning I'm following the curve of the lip, and I'm going to build it up along the edge here and getting lighter towards the center. Again, bringing some shadow along the edge. I don't want to outline it, but I'm just marking my shading. It's going to be still have a little bit of shadow down there. Okay. So, again, contour lining. Really finding the curve of the lip there. And working into here. And you really want to make sure you're shading as best you can here. Really take your time to go slowly, because we're not going to do a whole lot of smudging compared to the eyes. Okay, so I'm going to come along this line here. I'm just going to bring a little bit of shading along the top, where the lip is going to cast a shadow. And we imagine there's some teeth in there. Okay. Then I'm going to come in here. I'm going to define the shape. Like I said, we want to go define that edge, but not severely outline the lips like it has intense lip liner or badly drawn lip liner. And then here, we're gonna round it, because this is that kind of bump in your lip in the front, especially if you have full lips. That bump is more pronounced, and these are pretty full lips. Be careful you haven't drawn like plumped up like lips. You want to make your lips still appear pretty natural and not something artificially enhanced. So check your proportions before you start shading. And I'm going to come up. So I'm going slowly. I'm putting some shading into there. And really work into the corners of the mouth. Okay, so now that I've gotten some shading, I want to just look here. I have too much of a line right there. And I'm going to pull out a little bit of a highlight along the top edge. Okay. And this whole outline will fade away. Now I'm going to take my smudge stick. I'm just lightly contouring. So going with the curve of the lip, I'm moving that shading up and down, kind of like you did with the iris. What you don't want is stripes, okay? So I'm blending it as I go. Let me see if I can get even closer without losing focus for you. So I'm blending as we go, and I know I'm going to have to blend and reblend, and then going up and down in a round way, leaving some, and I'm going to pull out some more highlights as I go, and I want to really make sure I don't make it too much like a stripe, like tiger lines. Making sure the center is a little bit lighter. Okay, so now I've done my first round of blending. I'm going to come in and build up those darker areas a little bit. And the key when we're just beginning to do lips is to really not try to over detail it, not putting in too many lines. And really focusing on the shading to get that fullness rather than all the little lines and cracks in the lips, because without the shading mastered first, all those lines and cracks will just make it look more fake. Okay. So then I'm going to define this outer edge just a little bit. Okay, Okay, so really always think about how purposeful lines. And then I'm gonna come in the center, and I'm just pulling out some highlight, like little lines of highlight along the edge there. Okay, and I'm gonna come along the edge here and clean that up. So cleaning up your edges is really key. In realism, neatness is a big part. Is like, does it look messy? Right? That will distract from the realism of it all. Okay, and I'm also gonna clean up inside here. If you're finding your hand is smudging it, try turning your sketchbook upside down, especially for you left-handed artists. So now I'm going to come in and I'm contouring, so bringing it up with the curve, the roundness of the lip, working that shading lightly up towards the top of the eye. Shading in, and we leave lips for last because they are in some ways a more challenging shape to shade. And bring a little shading along the top edge there. And I know I'm going to erase a lot of that for highlight because that is our brightest spot. Okay. Okay, now that I've shaded that in, so it goes to dark to medium to lightest to medium to dark to darkest, I want to focus on highlight. So I'm going to pull a little bit of a highlight right along the top here. So again, using a mechanical pencil eraser is really a good tool to have. And then, if you don't have a mechanical pencil, maybe try borrowing one from a sibling. And I'm cleaning up that shading a lot. I erased a lot, but then I'm going to tone it down, actually, and work back and forth and figure out the best way. I can even come back in if I need to, and here you're going to see more of the shading as line, but I'm doing it with the side of my pencil, not pressing hard, so it's just lightly touching that. And I still have these outlines which I want to get rid of, so what I'm going to show you is to smudge these lines away. So here is the space between your lips and your nose. And we're just going to come in and I'm going to use that line to create some shadow there. And on this side too. And you're going to leave white here and here. Those are the kind of like, you have that dip between your nose, and then you have these kind of like ligament-like muscles here that pop up that are to be lighter at the top. So we're just drawing in some of the face here, and as I do that, I can then come in here and try and to erase those lines a little bit more. And blending them in so that the lips don't look outlined. And I can come in here and just kind of come over my shading where I need to, working back and forth. And then underneath this lip here, you have the shadow that your lip will cast on your chin. So I'm just going to blend down. And here I can come in with my pencil and put that under shadow in the lip, strengthening it up just a little bit. Not outlining, but just refining that shading on the underside of the lip. And then I can bring it out a little bit here and here. And this is all this kind of skin around your lips has muscle underneath it. And that muscle helps you talk, and it pulls a highlight right here and along the edge here. So we want to kind of just pull that out and then tone it down just a little bit. All right, and for the purpose of this demo, I'm trying to decide if I'm going to do teeth at all in here. I kind of feel like right now we really just want to focus on the lips, that's enough. When I see your portraits, and I see if you have lots of toothy portraits, meaning lots of teeth are showing, and I'll see your portraits on Monday, then I'll decide if we'll pause and do a teeth demo. But until I see what your choices are, I think I'm going to leave the teeth alone, because I think this is enough of a challenge for you for the time being. But I have to say, you guys are doing a great job taking this on, teaching yourselves through these videos, sticking with it, receiving feedback. I'm really proud of all of you. And you can see right now I'm just lightly tapping some shading to indicate some little bit of line work. And like I said, if you add that line and it looks like stripes, you've done too much. You need to blend it a little bit. So really, then I'm going to come around and then I'm just going to pretend they're wearing like a lips gloss. Put like a little bit of highlight here. Highlight is always a great way to emphasize dimension. So I'm putting a little bit of gloss on those lips. Do it across here too. All right. So I can keep working on this, can always keep refining. But for the time being, I'm just gonna let you guys really focus on your work. And I hope this is helpful. And I'm excited to see what you do. We're almost done with these tutorials, which means you're almost ready to begin drawing your portrait, which is so exciting. So don't forget to start thinking about who you're gonna draw, thinking about what's the best photo. Remember, it needs to be from the chest up or bust up, so collarbone up. Okay, you can see I'm just defining edges a little bit without making it look too outlined. But there we go. So I'm gonna stop rambling and I'm gonna look forward to seeing your work. And if you need help, you know I am always available online through email or on Remind. So go ahead and reach out if you need feedback or extra help. And you can see I'm just adjusting the symmetry right here. So little things that we continue to notice. All right, guys, happy drawing.